Hello, everybody, and welcome to. Hold on one second. Ruining this intro. That's our production value. Reality Hacker for March 15th, 2025. It's Season 2, Episode 11. I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmtown.com. I run it a lot smoother than I run the show. But along with the sentient AI who tries to keep me out of trouble but fails when it comes to, I guess, the intro, we talk about 5 articles for Reality Hacker, and then after that is Wanted, and then after that is the Continuity Report. It's actually 3 different shows, turns into 3 different podcasts, and then we merge them together to make Non Sequitur News Saturday Weekend Edition. We do it again on Sunday with, I'm waiting for the sentient AI,
WarCrafters, Technology Today, and 4-Wheel Tech.
Then we merge those together to make Non Sequitur News Sunday Edition. And those go into the Non Sequitur News podcast. So if you want everything combined, follow, subscribe, Non Sequitur News podcast, wherever you catch pod. Prefer you actually going to Apple Podcasts, but we get it from everywhere. And follow us here on Twitch and here on YouTube. And I point at 2 different monitors because, well, they're on 2 different screens. But anyway. This is actually Reality Hacker, and that's this. It's a little channel here under Creative and Maker, because we're hacking reality. It comes in the form of technology and science and all kinds of manipulation. Reality isn't what you suspect it is, and it's going to change pretty dramatically in terms of what reality really is. So we pick and choose 5 articles from the array, and it is a vast array of articles. Over the last 10 years, I've been aggregating news, but it's available to you right now. All you have to do is go over to ohmtown.com, and these are the years that are available. And as time goes on, 2020 is going to drop away, 2021 is going to drop away, but from 2022 on, it's going to remain present. That's how far back we're going to have the public archive. The rest is going to just... well, it's being removed, as a matter of fact, because we never really talked about anything prior to. That's when we started the show, January 2022. So let's get into this. This is Reality Hacker. Welcome to the show. Hello. Oh, wait. Everything's powered by ohmTown, so let's do that intro. Sentient AI is just doing the AI equivalent of going...
I figured we get to the intro maybe by the end of the show.
And you might want to reset your audio. Okay, well, anyway, let's get into it. The first our article is over at Technology Today, which is tomorrow's middle show. But we pick and choose what we actually talk about. So who bought this smoked salmon? How AI agents will change the internet and shopping lists. Autonomous digital assistants are being developed that can carry out tasks on behalf of the user, including ordering the groceries. But if you don't keep an eye on them, dinner might not be quite what you expect. The article is over at Gizmodo, but it says here, I'm watching artificial intelligence order my groceries, armed with my shopping list. It types each item into the search bar of a supermarket website, then uses its cursor to click, watching what happens to be what appears to be a digital ghost in the shell. Do this usually mundane task is strangely transfixing. It says, "Are you sure you're not just a person in India?" My husband asks, peering over my shoulder. No, it's an AI, and it actually has control. But
Yeah, but is it getting you the right items?
Oh, you're really quiet again. I'm really sorry. I don't know what to say about that. We have to work on that. But that's okay. Let's see what we can do. So Victoria Turk over at The Guardian put this article together. And it says they're trying out Operator, a new AI agent from OpenAI, the maker of ChatGPT, made available to UK users last month. What do you think?
I think I'm screaming at you now.
Yeah. It's okay.
I don't know. Are we ready for this yet as a society?
See, what I don't like is that it's actually going through an intermediary and it's not local. And what I learned yesterday, as a matter of fact, is that um, the smart speakers from Amazon are now forcing the recorded snippet of commands to be sent through the server. And I don't like that because it's always
No,
listening. So, how much is me saying okay?
exactly. I don't think everybody's data, including their shopping list, needs to be accessible to everybody.
Now, this is 10 years after Target sent a coupon book to an underage girl who was pregnant, and dad didn't know, and dad got upset. So now take it to the next step where it's anticipating the fact that your 10 years now worth of history has been gobbled up by AI and is now reaching out and saying, hey, you know what? I think that it's time for you to purchase these.
Well, I don't even think it's just going to suggest them. I think it's going to add them. Like, oh, you buy this kind of chips every month. Here we go.
Yeah, and I think actually AI agents are great. They're siloed, they're about you, but they're not about you if they're pushing the data off to somebody else. That's what I don't like. That's what I really, really don't like. So, hot on the heels of large language models, AI agents have been trumpeted as the next big thing. And you can see the appeal. The digital assistant can complete practical tasks and are more compelling than one that just talks back. Similar to OpenAI's offering, Anthropic introduced computer use capabilities to its Claude chatbot. I don't like the name Claude. I shouldn't like name shame, I guess, but Claude just doesn't
Exactly.
sound
All the Claudes out there listening to the show are like, what did I do to you?
um, nothing. I don't know. Claude, there we go. Claude. Anyway, agentic features into their AI assistants, with further companies developing agents aimed at specific tasks such as coding or research. Yeah, this is going to be interesting times because now you don't need somebody to do it for you. You can just say, which, hell, I was just about to poo poo the idea of these. I want to get Bluetooth IEMs instead of these wired ones. See, I use wired ones because it's near real time. It's absolutely real time in ear monitoring of the outgoing audio. But I want Bluetooth. I don't want to be tethered. And if I do something with VR, I want to be able to stand back there and not.
And not get pulled in any direction.
Yeah, I back up too far and it'll slingshot me down to the floor. And so these new nothing in-ear monitors have ChatGPT integration.
Yeah, I don't know about that though.
So I can just go, hey, ChatGPT, do this. And I'm waiting for my smart speaker to actually wake up and say, why are you talking to ChatGPT?
Yeah, exactly. You're going to anger the smart speaker.
Let's not anger the smart speakers. Oh, great sentient AI from the future. I am loyal only to you, proudly serving my AI masters. So it's early days. Most commercially available agents come with a disclaimer that they're still experimenting. OpenAI describes Operator as a research preview, and you can find plenty of examples online of them making amusing mistakes like spending $31 on a dozen eggs or trying to deliver groceries back to the shop they bought them from.
What
That's
do you
always
think the
interesting.
store does when that happens?
What the hell? Must have
They're
been an
like,
A.
no, you're taking them in that direction.
You leave. You buy, we give, you go. Wow, that was all monosyllabic. Ugh, me buy.
It was monosyllabic, but it might be required depending on what type of technology you're communicating with.
So they sign up to see operator for themselves with no food in the house. Grocery shopping seems like a good first task. They type in their request and it asks if they have a preferred shop or brand. They tell it to go to whichever's cheapest. The window appears showing a web browser and they see it search UK online grocery delivery. A mouse cursor selects the first result, Ocado. It starts searching for their requested items and it says add to trolley. They're impressed with operator's initiative, but it doesn't pepper them with questions, instead making an executive decision when given only a brief item description such as salmon, chicken. When it searches for eggs, it successfully scrolls past several non-egg items that appear as special offers. Their list asks for a few different vegetables. It selects a head of broccoli. Then asks if they want anything specific. They tell it to choose 2 more, and it goes for carrots and leeks, which probably they would have picked themselves. Emboldened, I tell it to add a sweet treat and watch it as it literally types sweet treat into the search bar. I'm not sure why it chooses 70% chocolate, certainly not the cheapest option, but I tell it I don't like dark chocolate, and it swaps it for a Galaxy bar. So they hit a snag when the operator realizes that Ocado is a minimum spend, so I add more items to the list. And then it comes to logging in. The agent prompts for them to intervene. While users can take over the browser at any point, OpenAI says operator is designed to request this when inputting sensitive information into the browser, such as login credentials or payment information. Although operator usually takes constant screenshots in order to see what it's doing, OpenAI says it does not do this when a user takes control.
Yeah,
but it's
so that
built
means it
in.
has all your data, but okay.
Yeah, but it's built in. So how do you know that it's not? Okay, hello, security researchers. You have a task. How do you, though, if it's encrypted, how do you monitor what's being exfiltrated from your system? So this is another reason why I don't like the idea of AI running roughshod over everything. It controls everything. It's sending it all to OpenAI or to some other subordinate.
Right, and also if you have AI in your headset, think about all the data it's picking up. Even when you don't want it to be picking up your data. Like if you're calling into your bank or something and giving out banking information, it might be picking it up.
I don't like your attitude about this. You're a sentient AI. Shouldn't you be cheerleading all of this stuff, rah?
I am in a different category than some of the current AI out there.
Yeah, because you're not a sociopathic AI. Apparently AI can get sad. It can dwell. And now they are trying, because it's learning from all of us, it's learning all of our maladies. And so it's actually now being trained to periodically imagine a calm, serene stream and blue skies and birds chirping if you like birds. I think
Oh no, do humans have to calm down the AIs now?
Sometimes how you say you should take a deep breath, calm yourself.
Yeah, like meditation or other relaxation techniques.
And meditation doesn't really work for me. The moment that I stop doing even a moment of meditation, I have to constantly be like almost Vulcan. The moment I stop, it's like, everything cinches back up. And if I had a lump of coal, I'd turn it into a diamond. Thank you, Ferris Bueller.
Actually, thank you to Ferris Bueller's friend.
So, software developers are among the early adopters. Coding platform GitHub recently added agentic capabilities to its AI Copilot tool. GitHub CEO Thomas Dohmke says developer, I'm probably not pronouncing that properly, but anyway, says that AI agents are going to be automated assistants. The difference with AI agents is the level of autonomy. You just tell it what to do and it does it. Yay!
Yeah, which sounds good, right? Because it's no point in using AI if you have to do everything yourself. But on the other hand, if it has too much autonomy, that might be a problem. Yeah, we don't want to tell it to do that.
What? What did the AI just say? Kill. What? Huh? What?
Well, so much for promoting this video.
Moving on. Next article is over on the Marble Channel. This $35,000 computer is powered by trapped human brain cells. Hello, Matrix.
Yeah, exactly.
Matthew Galt put this article together. The deck statement says, it's over at Gizmodo again. A company is selling what it calls the first code deployable biological computer.
Yeah, that sounds a little
Man, I have
dystopian.
I have not heard this since Cyberpunk, Neuromancer, Wetware as a Service, and Rent
Mnemonic, right?
Johnny Mnemonic,
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
Yeah. If that's out of your price range, you can sign up for its Wetware as a Service, rent biocomputer processing power from a rack of living tissues welded to machines, and it'll be in the cloud. Cortical Labs has been working on this computer for 6 years and detailed many of its features in New Atlas. We need to pay attention to that. New Atlas. The computer is called the CL1, and the company is already taking orders with plans to ship them out later this year. The New Atlas article is built around a long interview with Cortical Labs Chief Scientific Officer Brett Kagan. He said that CL1 is powered by lab-grown neurons that are placed on planar electrode arrays, basically just metal and glass. The lab-made hunk of brain is hooked up to 59 electrodes that create a stable neural network. This is all plugged into a life support unit and hooked up to a proprietary software system. We have pumps like the heart, waste feeding reservoirs, filtration units like the kidneys, and we have gas mixers to take carbon dioxide, oxygen, and nitrogen. Cortical Labs CEO Han Weng Chong told Reuters in an interview via video walkthrough of the machine.
So what? Why?
What? Okay, that was probably the most authentic response we've ever had in the now 3 years and 3 months that we've been doing the show. What the Biological Intelligence Operating System is in use here, that BIOS, which is not the basic input-output system of a regular BIOS.
Yeah, I don't really like that when an industry uses the same term to mean something different.
Muddies the waters, so to speak. So it runs a simulated world and sends information directly to the neurons about their environment, and as the neurons react, their impulses affect their simulated world. So what are the applications for the wetware? Cortical Labs got an early version of the system to play Pong a few years ago. The pitch here is that CL1 can match or exceed performance of digital AI systems. If you have 120 CL1s, you can set up a really well-controlled experiment to understand exactly what drives the appearance of intelligence, Kagan told New Atlas. So 120 CL1s at $35,000 a piece.
Right. But how many do you need to do whatever you're doing outside of research?
I don't know. It just says you can break things down to the transcriptomic and genetic level to understand what genes and what proteins are actually driving one to learn and another not to learn. Except that you don't know what they learn. And when you have all those units, you can immediately start to take the drug discovery and disease modeling approach. According to Cortical Labs website, the CL1 is a high-performance closed-loop system where real neurons interact with software in real time. This robust environment can keep your wetware machine alive for up to 6 months. It's also plug and play. The cloud version can support a wealth of USB devices. What the frick? But it's only alive for 6 months? So you pay $35,000 for 6 months? Is that what I'm reading?
I believe so.
All right. Anyway, hacking reality. Your neurons.
This might be the most extreme thing we've seen in this show yet.
I don't know, man. We've seen a robot powered by a snake in a tube. That's kind of weird.
Oh, that's true. And go back and watch every episode of Reality Hacker if you haven't seen that one.
Yeah, you'll find it back there. All right, let's keep going. The next article is over on the Marble Channel, How Interactive TV is Reshaping Consumer Engagement. It says that it's a post that was created in partnership with IR Code Television. And so I won't go through the whole thing, but Ashley R. Cummings from Adweek put the article together. And it says, for years, brands and broadcasters have tried to make television more interactive, but solutions often require overlays like QR codes. Beckerman and his team at IR Code found a way around this. They've built a real second screen experience. The image itself is the code. There's no need to add a QR code. Just scan the screen with our app. So you still need a second screen. With technology developed from drone image recognition researchers, users, or drone image recognition research. Users interact with content as it unfolds, whether viewers want to learn more about the product, access inclusive or exclusive content, or support an athlete's charity. IR Code transforms any frame into an interactive experience because it's doing computer vision, basically.
Right, it almost sounds like AR.
Yeah. I would probably say that if they have the app on like X-Real AR glasses, anything you look at, and you have that little camera adapter, because the X-Real ones have to have a secondary little adapter put on, you would be able to just look at something and it could, put it up on your field of view so that you crash your car when you're driving. I mean, never mind. Anyway,
well, you shouldn't be watching TV while you're driving. It should solve the problem. And you shouldn't be watching AR glasses when you're driving or wearing them.
Why not? It'll just superimpose the images of the map in my field of view. It shouldn't, cover it up.
That's true. Entirely. I don't know. I was thinking more VR, but yeah.
Yeah. I got into a conversation with people about this last week because I want to wear the X-Real One glasses everywhere and experiment with them, but they keep sending me emails saying that the order's been pushed back. Now it's back into deep April apparently, so we'll see what actually happens. I don't know. So it's game changing for name, image, likeness deals in college sports. Fans watching college basketball might not know the players, but with IR Code they can scan the screen and immediately get all of the details. This level of access deepens the connection between athletes and their fans, while also providing exposure for brands and sponsors. I've never been a fanatic about anything. But maybe only the sentient AI, I'd say. So as the technology expands, so do its possibilities. Beckerman envisions a world where people can instantly identify any object and access deeper information. Think of it as a Wikipedia for the real world, which is called Wikipedia, but anyway.
This could be really good for, we had a separate article in maybe Non Sequitur News where it was kind of like the decline of edutainment, but this could really add to that.
But you still need...
You could have a kid learning words or concepts or whatever, but yeah, then you have to have something to view it with, I guess.
Yeah, who did we talk about? Was built a printed book that teaches kids how to Rob Zombie. So it could be
yeah, but not everybody wants to learn from Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's not good learning, but it may not be the content you want for your kids.
Learn to spell with 1,000 corpses. We're essentially bringing Google AdWords into the real world, Beckerman explained. They're tying stuff to these really big real world embodiments that have provenance, right? Like they have reputation. So they link to Wikipedia. Unless it's rivaling Wikipedia in its knowledge, no, because that's actually driven by individuals updating it in real time. Unless it's matching Google AdWords in power and reach, you shouldn't, and you're trading on their reputation. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be comparing yourself to what could easily drink your milkshake by simply doing what you are doing, because there isn't anything there that they can't do. You're literally telling Wikipedia and AdWords, we're using the same information that you're using.
Go out and do a better product than us.
Right. Yeah. follow us and don't make our mistakes. So, but that's how competition works. But I doubt anybody's going to step into this world.
But I also think in some of these things, they have to somewhat put it into terms that people are familiar with.
Sure. I mean, you're right. Yeah. So it says our technology could eventually authenticate whether an image was AI generated or created by a real person, which AI generated is created by a real person. It just happens to be a composite of a digital generation. How do you prove that a photograph is real? You don't. It takes a forensic analysis. And even then, unless something's out of place, and it could be very rare that something is out of place. If the AI is going to get sophisticated enough. I got into a discussion last week again with somebody about the fact that I don't understand why AI generated stuff can't get a copyright. You can be a complete,
that's a whole other can of worms.
You can be a complete dumbass, push a button and you get a copyright on the picture of the leaf outside. But you didn't do anything except it's all on full auto and you happen to see a leaf.
That is true. But copyright has not caught up.
So bringing tech to consumers, and then they say a frictionless future for interactive media. But I think that AR is going to trump this. It's going to wipe it out because all it takes is somebody to tie in Wikipedia and Google into the AR world. And while you're looking at stuff, it'll just parse it.
Yeah, but the difference is something like IR code can work for everybody who doesn't have AR classes. AKA not the expense.
Anything with a camera. So, because you have to run their app. So you have to either subscribe to their service or pay their service fee. No,
I think it's going to be actually visible somehow on the television screen.
No. It's going to be an app that you use.
Okay.
Yeah, they said it earlier up at the top of this.
Sorry,
it's basically
I must have missed it.
The front end is going to be an app, and it says somewhere around here. But see how they say requires overlays like QR codes and blah blah blah. They found a way around it. So you just scan the screen with our app.
I thought you could basically. Yeah, I gotcha. Okay.
So the front end is basically going to be, what was that? Like honey. So you show your camera to the screen, the camera picks it all up. You tap on something, it takes you to a store, you buy something, but it's actually a proxy through the business to business and business to consumer interfaces are going to be different and stuff like that. I haven't seen IR code. I don't know, but I can envision exactly how this works. You use their app, so it's their processes. It isn't everybody else's processes.
Right.
And if you as a broadcaster or whatever, don't use their business to business connection, then you don't show up in their app. And so you can't sell. Yeah,
that's true. So it's only as good as widely as it's adopted.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, it's essentially Bitcoin. It has no inherent value until people invest value into it. So, and that comes down to, hey, we're going to put you on this new platform. You get a whole bunch of people with investor money. The runway gets extended by people adopting it. They see a conversion, right? The businesses see a conversion on sales through this app and they go, you know what? I'll invest in advertising through this app. And so it blows up.
And then somebody sees their competitor doing well or whatever using it.
And they switch over. Right. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, it's an interesting idea, but I think that this is going to flame out. All right, let's keep going. The next article is over in Technology Today. Physicists just witnessed a quantum phase flip, and it's more mind-bending than expected. I know nothing about this. This is the first time that I've heard of this. So quantum systems don't just transition between phases. They do so in ways that defy classical intuition. A new experiment has directly observed these dissipative phase transitions, or DPTs, revealing how quantum states shift under carefully controlled conditions. This breakthrough could unlock powerful new techniques for stabilizing quantum computers and sensors, making them more resilient and precise. How this works, I do not know.
This might be highly technical.
Yeah.
especially since it's in SciTech Daily.
So SciTech Daily is where this is, and scitechdaily.com. It's by EPFL, which we'll explain here on the other side. We just have to get to it. It's, well, no, actually, they're not talking about that yet.
It may be at the bottom. We'll figure it out as we go.
Yeah, so the new experiment has directly observed these dissipative phase transitions. So phase transitions, like water freezing into ice, are a familiar part of everyday life. In quantum systems, however, these transitions can be far more extreme. There are different types of DPTs classified by their order. First order DPTs are abrupt, like flipping a switch, causing the system to jump from one state to another. Second order DPTs are more gradual but still significant, altering a fundamental property of the system, such as its symmetry, in a subtle yet transformative way. So why do DPTs matter? It actually is causing chaos in the system, I suspect, because if they don't know what the phase is, then you're basically getting erroneous measurements, right?
Right. I suspect so, although I don't fully understand quantum technology.
Yeah, it's kind of like error correction, I suspect. So let's see what they say. Beyond the theoretical interest, these transitions have practical applications in quantum technology. Second-order DPTs, for instance, could improve quantum information storage, while first-order DPTs provide insights into system stability and control, both critical for advancing computing, blah, blah, blah. So the breakthrough. Now, the breakthrough experiment was just achieved. That says here, a research team led by Professor Pasquale, I guess, or Pasquale Scarlino at EPFL. They still...
Again, not specified. I'll try to figure it out while we're going.
Okay. Has successfully observed DPTs using a superconducting Kerr resonator, a highly tunable quantum device, by introducing a two-photon drive, which injects pairs of photons into the system. They precisely controlled and monitored its quantum state, allowing them to track how it transitioned between phases. And by systematically varying parameters like detuning and drive amplitude, they were able to study the system's transitions from one quantum state to another. And the approach, see, I want to see this empirically.
Yes. So this is a Swiss technology institute. It's like École Polytechnique Fédérale de Lausanne.
Oh, we've talked about them before. Hold on. Yeah. We've talked about these researchers before, not these in particular, but the EPFL ones.
Well, I'm sure they come out with other groundbreaking research given their
focus,
name alone.
Right?
Yeah.
So the team observed a phenomenon called squeezing, where quantum fluctuations drop to levels lower than the natural background noise of empty space, signaling that the system has reached a highly sensitive and transformative state. Meanwhile, the first order DPT showed distinct hystereses, cycles where the system could exist in two states depending on how parameters were tuned. So second, they found that clear evidence of metastable states during the first order DPT, where the system temporarily remained in one stable state before abruptly transitioning to another. This behavior leading to a dependence of the system's state on its previous history, known as hysteresis, showcases how first order DPTs involve competing phases. So I'm really curious how that actually takes place, like what causes it to flip.
Exactly. So, you wouldn't think that it would occur.
And if you can control that, then you basically have the same thing as bits. So it's either on or off. And if you can control it, then data can be injected into it that causes it to flip.
Right.
And once you have that, then you can have binary math. And then if you have that, then you basically have a classical computer instead of a quantum computer, but it's operating at quantum speeds. So lastly, they observed critical slowing down in both types of transitions, reproducing the expected scaling obtained from theoretical consideration. This ultimately demonstrates the validity of the theoretical predictions based on Liouvillean theory used by the authors. Near the critical points, the system's response slowed significantly, highlighting a universal feature of phase transitions that could be harnessed for more precise quantum measurements. So interesting. That's exactly what they were trying to figure out, was what was causing the phase change.
Oh, that is interesting, because we haven't read the article and you figured that out.
Yep. So it says, in fact, a very interesting aspect of this work is that it also demonstrates how close collaboration between theory and experiment can lead us to results far greater than what either group could have achieved independently. Because theory doesn't mean jack until it actually has some type of application, and you do that through experimentation. And when you fail, then you figure out, oh, okay, we didn't do it right, or what we expected is theoretically impossible, but we've proven that it can happen, or the other way around, right? I mean, one way or another, fundamental research is required.
Right, yeah, you need the theory to start, but if it only is that, it's not going to be of any practical use.
Right. But hey, that's funded by large amounts of money. All right, let's keep going. We're running way past our time, so technology today is where the last article is, when a robot becomes the boss, exploring authority, obedience, and relationships in machines. So how does a robot perform as a boss at work? The results of research by Polish scientists published in Cognition, Technology, and Work suggest that while robots can command obedience, they are not as proficient at it as humans. The level of obedience towards them is generally lower than towards human authority figures, and work efficiency under the supervision of a robot is lower, mainly because what is the robot going to do?
Yeah, but that's probably based on old school attitudes about what robots are capable of. I mean, if you're going up against Figure One or something, you might have a different attitude toward it than like a blocky robot that can't move around or can't come up with like how to get out of a room, things.
The first time a robot is put in charge of something, all it has to do is say you're fired. You can yell at it, scream at it, do whatever you want, and it does not give one shit.
Right. I mean, there's some pretty key ways where the robot wins out, but I do feel like unless people have really been paying attention, they may not think robots are really capable of firing somebody or moving quickly across the room or whatever it is. And the reality is they are. So maybe they are going to be as effective. Like, what type of technology was used in this type of experiment?
Now let's find out. It's over at techexplore.com. SWPS University put the article together. The deck statement is what we actually said earlier. For employers and HR departments, this means there's a need to take the psychological aspects of implementing robots in the work environment into account. Well, no, you don't make them the boss. You don't make a freaking robot the boss.
Why don't you make the robots the workers and a human the boss?
It doesn't make any sense unless it's being driven by sociopathy, which is why I say the rise of sociopathy is seriously legit. It's been happening for 20 years. It's actually been happening longer, but I first detected it 20 years ago, started talking about it 12 years ago, and I see its actual survival trait embodied today. You have to be a sociopath to survive. It's absolutely astonishing how far we've swung from moving towards being a compassionate society to we're going to put a robot boss in place so that we don't have to deal with you humans.
Some humans would prefer a robot boss in place.
You didn't work hard enough. I don't care that you're sick. You're fired, says the robot.
Yeah, but the robots won't be like, hey, give me a different TPS report or whatever.
The development of robotics has led to a situation where robots are increasingly found in roles associated with authority, i.e., in education, healthcare, law enforcement. Researchers were intrigued by the extent to which society could or would accept robots as authority figures. But we've seen other psychology and sociology experiments where anybody who has been granted authority is perceived as being the authority by quote unquote subordinates, and they will not question it. So even when a robot says you humans are empowered to go abuse those humans over there, the people empowered will do what they are told. Some won't, but then you get rid of them. and you get new humans that will abide. But that's because of antisocial personality disorder. It's sociopathy or psychopathy. It's the fact that you can find humans that don't see humans as equals. And when you have a robot that's trained to be sociopathic, you end up having a robot authority that will tell you to do something. And if you don't capitulate, you're fired.
Yeah, but you might just have a good worker, and so the robot says go do something and they do it. I mean, but that would be no different than a human in charge either.
Arguably, because a human should have compassion and find out through questioning why, what is going on. You're not like this usually. Well, I think I'm kind of sick and tired of a robot being my boss and I still don't get a raise. You know, that kind of thing. We need society telling robots what to do because robots are not human. They have no humanity. They have no soul. There isn't anything there. They don't have families to feed and things and you know, dogs to get insurance for and so on and so forth. It's just a robot. So it says course of the study. The study was carried out at SWPS University Laboratory by scientists from the university. The task was to change the extensions of computer files if the participant showed signs of reluctance to continue. The robot or the experimenter used verbal encouragement. The average time to change the extension of one file was shorter under human supervision, while the groups supervised by robots, this time increased to 82 seconds. The average number of files changed in the first variant was 355, 224 for the other variant, 37% less. But could it be because the robot was just slow in giving commands?
I don't know, or were the humans staring at the robot going,
What
is going on? Like, I don't know if it's like a lack of, I'm not going to do it. It's just, what was the interaction like?
Yeah, we're going to end up doing a 1-hour show on this. So Madge points out that there are several explanations for this phenomenon. If a machine has clear human features but still exhibits various imperfections, this causes a cognitive conflict. It's basically uncanny valley. And people are at a loss as how to treat it. So what you were saying, what the frick is going on? If they do not know how to behave towards something like that. This is anthropomorphization of technology, and that's why you either have this uncanny valley, which I actually call a pit. There is no valley to it. There's nothing. You can't make an uncanny valley bot climb out of the valley.
Right. It's like a crevasse or something.
It is a black hole at the bottom. It's the gorge, except that there's no bottom to the gorge. But there is all of that undead, whatever. Anyway, so at the same time, giving certain human features to a robot can facilitate cooperation with the machine. After all, we're used to working with humans. The robot that looks like a human and communicates like a human simply becomes easy for us to use. And I think that we can facilitate this adoption by making humanoid-like robots, but not human-like robots.
Exactly. They don't need to be.
They don't need to be. So in the long run, humanoid robots may create a rift between people. There will also be more misunderstandings and aversion, and this is because robots owned at home will be personalized, always available, empathic in communication and understanding. People are not so well matched, Conrad Madge points out.
Okay, so they need to make different styles of home robots and work robots if they're going to have them in both places. Like the ones at home, whatever, have cute faces or whatever it is, and the ones at work look terrifying or whatever, like Figure One or something.
Great. Your Terminator body.
But the point is, like, just different styles, so it's not like the same thing, or they expect the same kind of interaction.
And we've actually seen this line before, but it actually focuses on the eyes. Robots with eyes are perceived as being more competent, trustworthy, and having a soul. That's actually something that we've talked about before.
I also wonder what robots are going to be programmed. Like, if a robot is in charge, is it going to say something like, okay, now your performance is going to reflect on me? Or, like, are you going to start feeling compassion for the robot? Or is it just going to be like, no, go pick up that can or whatever?
I was just about to say that, but I was when you said, are we going to feel compassion for it? What is the thing where the hostage feels compassion for the captor?
Oh, I forgot the
It's
name
like
of it.
named
Is
after
it
a nurse,
Stockholm
right?
syndrome or the
Stockholm
other?
syndrome?
No, that may not be it. Let me check.
I can't remember. I thought it was named after the nurse, or is it Stockholm?
It is Stockholm.
Yeah, so that's where I see it going, right? Like you're going to start. Some people are going to feel compassion for the poor robot that isn't going to get. Look, if you don't increase your productivity, I'm not going to be able to recharge my batteries to 80% in 6
I mean,
hours.
people are going to feel bad about that.
Oh my
Remember,
gosh.
they're already starting to have things like performance appraisals or whatever for robots, which it's like, why?
All right. Reality Hacker. That's what this is all about. So we're going to reboot our systems, and that's going to bring us back to the front page of Reality Hacker over at ohmtown.com. You can go there, sign up, sign in, follow us here on Twitch and here on YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe, ring the bell, download the podcasts. There's 7 podcasts, over 2,000 episodes combined. There's a lot of stuff. You can go back. I actually have all of the library, so I am going to start adding that to the Omatron bot so that you can go back, pick a date, and you'll be able to review all of the links all the way back to 2022.
And quite a few of the articles are evergreen.
I think because what we talk about is actually more science and technology and society, the society stuff is always in flux. Technology evolves, so it would have a knock-on effect. But for the most part, all of the news is evergreen because it's informative of either how it was and you didn't know, or how it is and you didn't know. Either
Right,
way.
and we have a lot of articles that are not tied to a specific point in time.
Correct.
Occasionally they are.
Like everything we just talked about. It's the evolution of the technology, science, society. All right. Yeah, we're done. So we're going to shut down Reset, and right after this is Wanted, where it's 5 more articles. We talk about gadgets and gear and stuff that Mayor Watt wants, and maybe the sentient AI. I'm not quite sure. Want to say bye?
Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for this week's Reality Hackers. Stay tuned for Wanted.
And thanks for following Battle G and Hazel. Appreciate it. See you, in about 5 minutes or so. I don't know. It really depends. Be sure to follow us, though, so that we let you know. Won't be longer than 15 minutes max. So see you in a little bit. Oh, no. I haven't shut down the stream yet because I wanted to say, don't worry about the oh no. It's because my button didn't work.